What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy. And right now I'm at a cemetery in Arkansas, and I'm visiting the grave of Helen Marie Greer. I read about her online a short while ago, and I felt really sorry for what had happened to her. Back in April of 2014, there was a tornado that struck Mayflower, Arkansas, an F4 tornado. Helen Marie Greer was one of the victims of the tornado. She was a casualty of the tornado, and she died inside the storm shelter that she was hiding in, an above-ground storm shelter. Someone on Reddit actually told me about this. Apparently what had happened was the tornado caused the storm shelter to cave in because the storm shelter was not built by FEMA standards. FEMA actually has very strict standards for how a storm shelter should be built. Storm shelters are supposed to be built on top of a concrete pad with 5 square feet of space per person and 2 vents for air to get through. But the vents have to be guarded so debris doesn't go through them. And most importantly, the door to the storm shelter is supposed to have 3 latching points for the door to be able to lock and close to keep the person hiding inside of it safe from the tornado. There's actually pictures of the storm shelter that Helen was hiding inside, and when I looked at those pictures, you could easily see that the storm shelter that she was in was not built by FEMA standards. It appeared to only have 1 deadbolt lock on it to keep the tornado from throwing debris inside, but that's exactly how she perished from the tornado. Debris caused the door to cave in on her. I felt like this was a very important video to do because people need to be aware of the standards of how a storm shelter should be built so they can choose the right one. And I also felt that it was really unfair what happened to Helen. She should have been safe inside of her storm shelter, and it should not have failed. When someone purchases a storm shelter, they do it to protect their lives. And it's absolutely terrifying to imagine being in a place where you think you're safe when a disaster is going on, and then finding out that you're not safe. And I felt really sorry for her. Helen was 72 years old when she passed away. She would have been in her 80s if she was still alive today. My grandmother is in her 90s, and she's still living her best life, and she's still happy and alive. And Helen deserved to be happy and alive too, but all because some messed up storm shelter company didn't even bother to build the storm shelters to FEMA standards to keep people like her safe. She isn't. And I felt really sorry for her, and I felt like she was let down. I really wanted to do this video to remind people of what standards a storm shelter should be built in order to save someone else's lives. But also, I wanted to do this video in memory of Helen. And I wanted to leave this flower by her grave in memory of her, because it was not fair what happened. Helen Marie Greer, I am very sorry for the horrible fate that you suffered. I'm very sorry that you were let down. But I can assure you that you did not die in vain. You will always be remembered. And what happened to you will help keep someone else safe so they don't suffer the same fate. You are now an angel in heaven, and you shall never be forgotten. I wish you peace in the afterlife. Rest in peace, Helen Marie Greer. You will never be forgotten. Fly high, sister.